never forgive them, is the attempt to change the constitution. What they are currently doing, that is unforgivable. That is unforgivable, whichever way the outcome. The constitution is sacred. You cannot amend the constitution 10 months before. You just don't do that. What you're trying to do is to actually destroy the country. You don't do that. Okay? And when the session, it is being done secretly. One, first of all the constitution commissions that we have had, invariably, commissioners or the people appointed are gazetted so that we know who has been invited. Secondly, the terms of reference are clearly gazetted so that we, the people, know the framework of that, the scope of what is being suggested to be changed. Okay? We don't know, right? The terms of reference set the parameters or the extent of the mandate of the technical committee, right? So that the people also know that those who are going to appear, for example, when you have the terms of reference, it tells you the scope. If the technical committee is required to look at the issue of, say, chiefs, right? It's in the terms of reference. I should be able to go to the commission, to the committee, to say, I would like to make my submissions on the issue of chiefs, because this is what I have interest in, right? Now, if the issue of chiefs is not there, you go there to talk about chiefs, the technical committee will tell you to say, sorry, we can't hear you on the chiefs because it is not part of our...
listed. It's not on the agenda.
That's right. It's not part of our terms of reference.
Yeah.
Okay? Terms of reference is like your job description. Okay? You are employed. Are you going to be asked to go and clean your boss's house? No. You say, hey, Bwana, it's not in my job description. Okay? So, committee that you have appointed, there is nothing wrong with the Constitution. What is wrong with the Constitution is the fact that you is above political interest. All political activities must be pursued within the framework of the Constitution. These are games we ought to stop doing 60 years after independence. It is wrong. Okay? These are some of the issues that have prompted me to make this decision. Okay? I was very optimistic, by the way, in 2021 that finally Zambia is on a path to growth and development and consolidation of our democracy. But I can tell you, I'm one of the many Zambians that are deeply disappointed, because whatever we hoped this government would do, it has gone exactly in the opposite direction.
What did the UPND, what promise did the UPND come with that gave you the confidence that things
Very
will change?
simple. We are the problem with the PF government, right? The extent of lawlessness and everything else, and the attempt to amend the constitution through Bill 10, there were so many other problems, okay? And also don't forget the debt position which they created. There were many. So when the government was replaced, when you replace a government, what are you expecting? You expect the new government to correct all the wrongs done by the previous government.
The previous government.
Yes. Okay. We don't change for continuity. It's crazy. You replace somebody because you believe that somebody would do things differently. What's the difference between Bill 7 and Bill 10? What's the difference? Okay? President Lungu, may his soul rest in peace, the idea of Bill 10 was to give the PF an advantage in the 2021 election. That was the driving force. It was never in the interest of the country. That is why some of us went to court to oppose that. Okay? And they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing.
You think the President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND are trying to change the constitution to give themselves
yes,
upper hand?
Yes, I can go on record on that. Yes, that's what it is. Okay? But you see, if and this is where the contradiction comes in. If you truly believe that you have performed 90%, why should you be worried? If you have performed 90% of your promises, right? Maybe even 100%. You have done that performance within the existing constitutional framework. So why would you want to change it? If the constitutional order has allowed you to achieve your goals, why do you want to change it? Okay? And if you have performed very well, that should give you the confidence to go to the electorate to say, give us a second mandate. Okay? So if you won the election under the existing constitution, right? Why don't you go for re-election under the same constitution arrangement? Why do you want to change that constitution before the next election?
So changing the constitution is insecurity?
It shows lack of confidence. It's because you know you can't win. Okay? It's because you know you can't win. Nobody changes the constitution before the election. Anybody confident of winning an election would never change the constitution before the election. But in any case, why didn't they change the constitution immediately after they won in 2022? Why didn't they? Why are you doing it in the last minute if you're so confident about your performance? Okay? And you will see what will come out. Even Bill 7, it was all geared at the 2026 election. You see, if you have delivered under the existing constitution arrangement. So why would you want to change it if it has worked?
I hear you, State Council. Many people fear the politicization of the courts. How will you protect judicial independence while also pursuing the reforms you believe are very necessary? And it's kind of connected to this conversation.
Okay. We are jumping the gun here, right? Speaking hypothetically, assuming I was to be in that position, two things. The primary thing that I will do, that we will do, is first of all to respect the Constitution. Okay? Because that's the foundation of everything. That is why before assuming office, you are called to take oath to defend and protect the Constitution. It is never, the president doesn't take oath to go and change the Constitution. No, it takes oath to defend and protect the Constitution. So any demand to change the Constitution has to come from the people. The responsibility of the president or the government is to protect it and to defend it. But if there is need to change or to amend it, that demand has to come from the people, not from the politicians. Okay? So the reason why they take oath, right, is very important. First of all, if you're a believer, you put your hand on the Bible. I swear, I'm making this commitment. I will defend and protect the Constitution. There is a reason for that. Because the Constitution is the foundation of who we are. You destroy that, you're destroying the country and destroying who we are. Okay? And that is the problem we have had. From 1964 to date, every president has cooked the Constitution. Okay? We have to stop. We have to stop. Okay? So this is what we have done. In 1972, Kaunda declared one-party state, but Kaunda started long before 1969. He changed the Constitution, amended it to remove the referendum clause. Then in 1973, he now introduced one-party state. Okay? And that was the destruction of the country. 27 years later, the country was on its knees. 1991, we had a new constitution. 96, President Chiluba mutilated that constitution. Okay? Destroyed it. But this is where I give credit to President Lungu, not for the reasons that you have we talked about earlier on. Is the only president in this country that took steps to reduce the powers of the president. One of his greatest legacy, you can criticize him for whatever reasons, but for me was the amendment of the Constitution to require a presidential candidate to secure 50+1% of the votes before one can be elected president. Okay? No president ever did that. For example, in the 1991 Constitution, it was there. But Chiluba was so scared that he had it amended. But President Lungu reintroduced that particular clause. Okay? So the starting point, not just for me, but for every Zambian, is to respect the Constitution. Okay? And then thereafter begin to build everything on the basis of the Constitution as it stands. That will be the primary objective. Because when you respect the Constitution, I'm on record as having advocated, first of all, for the financial independence of the judiciary. I've advocated to say there should be a transparent system of identifying and appointing judges, because that is critical. That is critical. Your judiciary is the last place of refuge. Okay? When the politicians misbehave, you go to the judiciary. Okay, but to survive that, you need a strong, robust, and independent judiciary. Okay, when the institutions are weak, okay, first of all, it's an illusion to believe that you are going to get serious foreign investors to come to this country when you do not respect your own constitution. It's an illusion. No serious investor will ever come to this country. None. Okay?
Because as long as we show that we're a peaceful country and we do have natural resources, doesn't it come natural that investors will come?
Well, they'll come and loot your natural resources. That's what is happening.
They'll come and loot the natural resources.
What we are seeing is looting. Okay, we have all these extraction going on. How much are the Zambians benefiting from whatever is going on? Okay, why, for example, don't you have industries? Why? Okay, what is happening is extraction, raw materials. But to set up industries, to have to turn those raw materials into finished products, you need people to invest. Now, that investment may take 5, 10, 15 years before it can mature. Now, when there is constitutional instability, which foreign investor is going to put in his money when he doesn't even know what is going to happen in the next 5 years?
State Council, I've had these conversations with a lot of people. Some people have been in State House, some people are in State House. At the very beginning, we have these ideas of how the country needs industries for us to be able to create actual employment, for us to be able to add actual value to our natural resources. But when you get there, what happens to you people when you get there?
I haven't been there. Okay, maybe you should ask the people that have been there, right? I have no idea what happens, but that is why we need strong institutions. The starting point is to have strong institutions, and also citizens must participate. You don't vote and go to sleep. You don't. You vote and you pay attention to the leadership. You hold them accountable, and that is what we are saying, that no individual can transform this country. Okay, you vote people into office, and as citizens you remain alert. The politicians do all this crazy stuff because they know they can get away with it. Okay, and even the very idea of giving people chitenges and everything else during campaign, this is all demeaning. You don't need to do that. You have impoverished.
When you meet the average number that you want, would you be able to form a political party going into the 2026 election?
That will depend upon the numbers and how ready we are. Because first of all, I'll tell you one thing. I can't go in an election and then get 0.2% of the votes. I wouldn't. Okay? To do that, there must be clear path to victory. Because you don't just go there for the fun of it. You don't. Okay? So, based on the numbers, everything will be data driven, and look at the amount of work we'll have done. By the time, God willing, we reach that number, then we start the exercise of mobilizing and everything else, and based on that we'll make a determination. Because you know what, the whole political process is still very fluid, right? There's so many moving pieces, so that you don't even know what tomorrow is going to happen. So many things. So a lot of these things will have to be made, decisions will have to be made in the near future. Okay, once, for example, the time comes for nomination, where do you stand? Can you take part in an election and win? You have to make that assessment now, at that particular time. You can't make that assessment before. You have to ask yourself, have we made substantial progress for us to be able to win? Okay, for example, I don't go to court to lose cases. Okay, I prepare, I do my research, I check my facts and everything else. By the time I'm going to court, I believe that I have a robust case. Similarly, there is no way I would be able to abandon that level of reasoning just because I've entered the political arena. No, the same reasoning will have to apply. Maybe there could be a conclusion that maybe more work is required. That decision will be made. Okay, it will depend upon the outcome after the whole exercise is done.
I want to talk about how different the MNR will be. what policy areas will distinguish national a movement for national renewal from existing parties? For instance, in economy, corruption, youth employment, and mining policies.
Okay. Here's a problem. People rush to policies, right? But we don't first of all interrogate. Do we have any existing policies right now? And if we do, how well are those policies doing? Okay? If they are doing well, if the existing policies are doing well, what do you want to change them? You embrace them. You build on them, right? Where there are no policies, because you don't formulate policies in a vacuum, okay? It has to be in the context, right? You start by, because there has to be continuity. You don't say, oh, this is a program of the previous government, therefore we're abandoning it. No, it is a program for the Republic, right? So, from my own perspective where I stand, the primary thing is not so much about policies, right? In this environment, no matter how brilliant your policies are, they won't go anywhere.
What's the main thing?
First, there are those 10 issues that I raised. We are a divided country, so it doesn't matter what policy you put in place. Nothing will happen. 2, there is lawlessness, okay? We have to have rule of law for any policy to thrive. 3, we have to respect the Constitution, which we don't do. 4, we have to be truthful before any policy can take root. Okay? If you look at those 10 points, those are the preconditions from where we stand for any meaningful policy to take root.
You are a respectable lawyer and an advocate for the Constitution. Between 1 and 10, how much are you giving the current government in terms of upholding the rule of law?
You really want my grade?
Yes, please. Your grade. Your grade will mean a lot. You are John Sangwa.
You know what? If I thought the performance was that good, I wouldn't be sitting here.
How much are you giving President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND government in terms of upholding the rule of law in the country right now, since 2021?
Same answer. I wouldn't be here. If I thought the performance was even above 5, wouldn't be seated here. Okay? Because in any case, why would you want to think of occupying an office when the incumbent is performing well? Who changes something that is working? Who changes? Nobody. Okay? It's crazy. If something, and that's why you can understand. I'll give you an example.
Just hold on, hold your thought with that example. You can give us a call. There are numbers on the screen. If you have any contribution or any questions for State Council John Sangwa, is actually here to have to be able to have a conversation with you. You may go on, State Council.
Yes, I'll give you an example. The Botswana Democratic Party was in power from 1966. Okay, this is the first time, I think 2 years ago, when they elected a new president. That's a new political party. So that political party was in power for over 50 years. Why? Because the government was performing. They kicked out that government because it stopped performing. Okay? So nobody changes something that is working. Similarly, we had Kaunda.
My producer says there's a call.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Just hold your thought. Hold your thought. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Hello?
Good morning. You're live on the podcast. Would like to know your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Aaron Miranda within Lusaka.
Mr. Nyirenda, you may go on to and have a conversation with
Yeah,
Council.
greetings to the State Council there.
Thank you.
Yeah, mine is to contribute or maybe to give a comment on the statement issued by the State Council saying that why didn't the UPND change the constitution immediately they won the election? Or saying that the UPND wants to change the constitution because it will give them an advantage. one thing should be clear, that when the people decide to change government, there is nothing that the UPND can do to stop them. So it's not the matter of the constitution be changed that will give the UPND a chance, or maybe to perceive that they want to give themselves an advantage. The best that you can do, or the best argument that you can place on the table, is these amendments they are proposing in the best interest of Zambians, or what? Are they benefiting Zambians? Because if you are to move with this narrative that to change the constitution because the elections are near, imagine a good clause that would have shut down in the 2016 amended constitution of the vice president running the clause. It's a very good amendment. But because if we think that no, the states are going to take advantage of it, what and what, so it shouldn't be that way. Besides, after the UPND won the election, they had a lot of issues to solve. There was debt restructuring, there was, to settle these cadres that were on rampant AD. So these are the issues that the UPND started to work on, because I think changing the constitution can be changed as long as it's a good time.
Let us conclude so that other people can come through. That's all?
Yeah, so in conclusion, on the argument of the constitution, it shouldn't be that no, they want to use it as advantage to win. No, let us look at the clauses which are in there. Not that no, they want to use it. No. Let us act based on the content which is in there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. State Council, before you come in, there are numbers on the screen, 2 of them. You could use those numbers to call us live wherever you are watching us from or listening to us. State Council is actually is willing to have a conversation with you, so we can move together. Clear numbers are on the screen. You can actually get dialing and have a conversation with us. State Council, would you like to respond to
Yeah, I mean, that is the usual narrative, to say no, there are some clauses that are that would have derailed the last election. But the point is, no election has been derailed.
Just hold your thought. There's another caller. Hi there, good morning. Are you able to reduce the volume from wherever you're watching us from? Reduce the volume.
Okay. How are you?
Very fine. Your name and where you're calling us from? You are through to the podcast.
Yes, this is the traffic highway calling you from Namwala.
I missed your name?
Traffic highway calling you from Namwala.
Okay, please reduce the volume. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, reduce the volume, please. We can get some feedback.
Yes, it is completely reduced.
Thank you. You may go ahead and talk to State Council.
Sure, John Sangwa SC, how are you, sir?
I am well, sir.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your position in promoting understanding for the constitution to be followed. Only that I have a different view when we want to elaborate and educate the people what laws are in the 7 amendment constitution. Instead, you have been just putting it in general that the amendment of the 7 it's all favoring the European government. But I would appreciate much you being a constitutional lawyer to single out 1 or 2, 3 clauses which are of the benefit to the government of the day. When you come for election, or rather in it is your right and you deserve to gain politics. I don't think for you to come in politics or for people there, the government no.
You have there's a lot of feedback.
Okay, what I'm saying
and also make it quick, please, so that we can allow other people to come through, please.
What I'm trying to put across is that someone is very, very much eligible to join politics or being a presidential candidate. Not because of the
Sorry, we can't hear what you're saying. See if you can see if call us back, change your position, or something like that, you could please give us a call. The numbers on the screen. Give us that call. State Council is actually here and is able to respond to your questions. Hi there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great. Thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Msonda calling from Rapula.
From Rapula, Mr. Msonda.
Yes, just want to talk to the man himself.
Please talk to State Council.
State Council, we just want to encourage you. We thank you for this opportunity. Most of us are able to reach out to you because I don't think you are visible on social media. But we really want to encourage you. We are strongly behind you, sir.
Thank you.
We are strongly behind you.
Thank you.
And we hope you can share with us how we can reach you, how we can support and everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So before we're taking the few calls, can you just quick response how people can support you, how people can register, and other questions that have come through so far?
Yeah. We'll be able to share some of the details on how to register, but everything is on Facebook.
What's the name of the Facebook page?
It's in full Movement for National Renewal. They can check for that and all the details are there.
Okay, please. So you can simply search for Movement for National Renewal. All the details will be there.
Yeah.
Hi there, good morning. Let's pick up another call. Hi there, good morning.
Yes, good morning, DJ Shows.
Good morning.
And good morning, State Council.
Good morning, sir.
Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, this is John. I'm calling you from Luansha.
Luansha. John, please go ahead and talk to State Council.
Thank you. State Council, I followed your submission about the Constitution, and it is very clear. I think some of us who are non-partisan, who are not politicians, I think we understand. But my question is, if you look at what is happening, what's the best approach in terms of how the judiciary should operate? Well, if you look at what is happening, like him being arrested, then the focus and attention has been taken so much into amending the Constitution. So I don't know what would be the best approach. Then secondly, it is the opposition. What is the best way to harmonize the opposition party? What strategies should be used? Because if you look at the strongest opposition, it's on its knees. I don't feel PF will come back. That's my take in terms of them being allowed to participate in elections. So for me, knowing how intelligent you are and your experience, what would you advise to the opposition right now about the best approaches? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
State Council, I'd like to also hear your response to these two questions. Please go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, the first question was disputing the narrative that this amendment is all about election. And I think the caller referred to the fact that there was a possibility of the election being derailed. I've heard that argument before, but the truth of the matter is that you do not amend the Constitution because in your mind you have imagined a certain scenario and you want to prevent it. Okay, you don't do that. Now, we have had successful election under the Constitution as amended in 2016 and 2021. What problems did we have? None. The Constitution delivered. Okay, President Lungu won under the Constitution as amended in 2016. He won in 2016. Right? The current president also won under the current Constitution as amended in 2026. He won in 2021. What problems were there? Okay. Now, you have to understand one thing. The drafters of the Constitution did not say what we have drafted is a perfect document. No, they didn't say that. But they said, if there is any issue to deal with interpretation or whatever issues that you have with the Constitution, what do? You go to the Constitutional Court. Okay? The Constitutional Court will guide. It is not for the president to imagine a problem and then they have to initiate an amendment. No. If you have an issue, you go to the Constitutional Court. For example, in the 2016 after the 2016 election, there was a debate as to whether 14 days meant 14 working days or ordinary 14 days, Saturday, Sunday included, right? The Constitutional Court interpreted it to say it is actually 14 days, Saturday and Sunday included. So the country was guided. We didn't have the same problem in 2021. We didn't.
Because the interpretation was already
given. Yes, that is why you have a Constitutional Court. I can't sit here and dream up of a problem and I say, because if all of us we are given a chance to look at possible problems in the Constitution, we'll find them. Okay, we'll find them. But should that be the basis of the amendment of the Constitution? The answer is no. If you have a problem, you go to the Constitutional Court, right? There is a mechanism. It's not for you or me to imagine a problem and then thereafter call for an amendment. No.
I hear you. I'm asking we go to the other questions so that we can allow more calls to come.
Yes. The second question was from the gentleman from Luansha. Unfortunately, we have freedom of assembly and association. You can't advise the people in the opposition on how to manage their affairs. Okay. Now, the biggest problem we have...
There's a point he raised. He said that the PF might not be allowed to stand.
Okay. I'd like to avoid that discussion. I'd like to avoid mention of the PF and the rest. I just want to avoid that. But let me look at it generally to do with the opposition. You can't advise them. But the point is this. For some reason, the political actors don't seem to have respect for the voters. Okay? Rarely do they listen to the voters. They don't. Because if they are to truly listen to the voters, all these wrangles going on would be resolved. But they don't. Okay? But also another point, which is literally a disease. It's like all political parties, when they get elected, they're very confident. They praise the people, how good they were, and so forth for electing them. And when it comes to re-election, for some reason, they don't seem to trust that the same people that voted for them will actually re-elect them. You know, that is where it's very strange.
Do you think the political actors think that the people, the electorates have got short memory?
I don't think that it is short.
Looking at the trend on how you people in public office, except you though, you are not yet in public office.
I'm not in public office. Yes.
People in public office tend to, and this is a general feeling out there, tend to improve things suddenly towards the election.
Yes. That's indecency. You don't do that. You ought to improve things from day one. You must have a plan, you know, so that, and that's where the problem comes in. Towards the election, you start manufacturing success. you don't manufacture success. The people should themselves tell you if you've been successful. They will feel it, they will know it, they will experience it. So you don't have to educate the people how successful you've been. They will tell you themselves. Yes, they'll tell you themselves.
Says there's a caller. Hi there. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's actually afternoon. Please reduce the volume wherever you are watching us from. If it's Facebook or YouTube, please reduce the volume.
Good afternoon, sir. Good
afternoon. Thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm Godfrey sir.
Godfrey, please go ahead and talk to State Council.
I just wanted to encourage State Council to expedite whatever he's doing because time is running out. We might run out of time while we're still talking. We only have 8 months to go. What we're supposed to do is concentrate on how he's going to work.
I'm gonna.
So that is the only thing that I've seen that is lacking State Council. Yes, let him just be able to come up with a roadmap on how he's going to work, and then start mobilizing.
Okay.
And without that, we don't have much of the time.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, thank you for that advice, but we must also remember one thing: it's not my job alone. right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you must ask yourself, what are you going to do, okay, to contribute to that cause? If you believe what we are doing is correct, ask yourself, what are you going to do to contribute?
In fact, I'd like to him to answer that question before you go.
No, we are behind you, State Council. All the do.
No, sir. I don't want you to be behind me. I want you to be with me.
What are you going to do?
I want you to be with me, not behind me.
Yeah.
What are you?
We are with you.
What are you?
We give you the maximum support.
Can you hear me?
I'm getting you, State Council.
No, this is Shosta. I'm saying that what are you willing to do to help the movement if you're behind State Council?
We will go flat out mobilize for him.
Awesome.
So for us as Zambians, because we need a regime change come next year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
There's a call on WhatsApp. Hi there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Thank you. You are live on the podcast. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yes, my name is Emmanuel. I'm calling you from South Africa.
From South Africa, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Go on and talk to State Council.
Thank you so much. Good morning, State Council.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, actually.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for the correction. Yeah, so I think I agree with the State Council. Let me start with this one. I agree with the State Council when he says there is lawlessness, and in a country where there is lawlessness, policies implementation is always an underscore. So my question to State Council is that we have looked at the politicians come and go, and what we have seen is that our justice system has always failed our nation, because failure always starts with our justice system. When they cannot do their job properly, our courts favor the government of the day. We saw the Concord says Edgar Lungu is eligible, again turn around because he's out of office and say he's not eligible. We have seen the Speaker of the National Assembly, how she's one-sided in the National Assembly. We have seen our courts favoring the government instead of doing their duty diligently as they should. So I think if I can ask a straightforward question to State Council, will be that, State Council, what do you think can be done to our justice system in order to implement so that they can carry out their job diligently as they should, being the third arm of government, which is very pivotal and very vital for the development and implementation of policies, because it's our justice system that can handle the politicians in office if they fail. But if these officers are being appointed by the president or by the government of the day, these officers are going to serve the interest of these people. So what do you think can be done there to our justice system in order for these officers who should serve the people in order to operate freely without fear of intimidation from the higher offices, from the office of the president? I think that's my question there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. State Council, please address this question.
Yeah. You have to look at government as an organism. Okay? All the organs of government work in sync. So when one institution fails, okay, it brings down everything else. So it's not just a question of addressing the judiciary, right? Which we must. And in addressing the judiciary, we start with a method of, first of all, appointing people on merit and in a transparent manner, so that those who become judges, they know they are there on merit. They went through a competitive process. They are not beholden to anybody, but they know that they are there on merit. That is the first starting point. But we don't just address the judiciary. We also address the presidency, in the sense that you need to elect somebody that respects the Constitution. That's the starting point. That somebody must also be able to respect the boundaries of the powers of the presidency, of the president. And that person must equally respect the role of the judiciary, right? It should not interfere. And you also have a National Assembly. You need to elect responsible people as members of parliament. So all the organs of government must act in sync. Why?
I have a question.
That is why we're talking about checks and balances, right? If the president is out of line, the judiciary should push back and put him in his place. When the legislature, in this case the National Assembly, is out of line, the court should be able to push it back in place. And when the president again is out of line, the National Assembly should be able to push the president back in place. So this is the synergy that is supposed to exist. But unfortunately, that synergy does not exist. So it doesn't matter what you do to the judiciary, as long as the other two institutions are defective, nothing will happen to the judiciary. So that's what we're talking about. We're not, that's why we're talking about a national renewal. The country needs renewal after 60 years. I'm not saying everything has been a failure, but we have lost wonderful opportunities to be able to progress this country. So the starting point is a renewal of the country, not at an institutional basis, as to renew our institutions, and even us Zambians to renew our minds, to renew ourselves, so that we become active participants, so that we have control over our own destiny.
Sir Council,
yes.
The gentleman who just called from South Africa,
yes,
he's asked questions that I've always had, and you have partly answered them. His main concern is that even our courts sometimes look like they are supporting the powers. Okay, he gave an example of how the same court said ECL is eligible.
That's right.
The same court came and said ECL was not eligible.
That's correct.
What can we do to attain maybe 100% autonomy for the courts? What is it? Is it the people that we elect? What is it that we can do?
Yeah, I've given the answer. First of all, you need whoever you elect as president must respect the Constitution.
So if the person that we elect as president is not respecting the Constitution, that's why you would see the courts bending.
Everything collapses. Yes. Okay. Everything collapses.
So it's not even the courts.
No, it's not.
It's the powers that be.
What happens also is that it's a number of factors, right? Because the judiciary is an institution. It needs to protect itself, right? It has to work as a unit. Now, when you have some judges who are not, and the independence of the judiciary starts with a mode of appointment, right? And also, you do not, the people you put as judges must know what their job is. They are not there. They are not the judges of the executive branch of government. They are judges for the republic. Their primary obligation is to the country, not to the government in power. Okay, so the whole system is collapsed. Okay, there's a problem. The National Assembly is basically a rubber stamp of the executive. So the executive right now, okay, I would confidently state this: the president controls the judiciary. He also controls the National Assembly, and that is a very dangerous recipe. That is a recipe for anarchy. And no, I mean, with that state of affairs, that's why we are where we are.
Does President Hakainde Hichilema respect the Constitution?
No, he doesn't. I'm on record, he doesn't. Because if he did, he wouldn't initiate this amendment of the Constitution.
Let's pick up some calls. Hi there, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you. You're live on the podcast. You could go ahead and tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is John from Lusaka Central Constituency.
John, you may go on and talk to State Council.
State Council, how are you?
I am well.
State Council, you should not be discouraged by whatever people that will say.
Yes, sir.
I believe that the steps, the journey of many miles starts with one step.
That's right.
I've been following how you've contributed greatly to this nation, especially to the amendment of the Constitution. So nobody should discourage you. We shall surely support you.
Thank you.
And I've already started following the movement, even on Facebook.
Thank you, sir.
So don't be discouraged. We will support you. We'll give you the motivation that we need. Even mobilization, we shall surely conduct the necessary mobilization for you to win.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Before I go to the next cause, tell the Zambian people, if elected, what program you will start on day one. Concrete program you will start on day one. Please don't say 10 hours, 14 hours. It's going to sound.
What?
Don't say 10 hours, 14 hours.
No.
It's going to sound like we've heard it before.
No, yeah. No. You know what? That's where the starting point is, the 10 points that we have talked about. That is the first thing that we'll have to
So
implement.
if we go to your Facebook page, we will find the 10
Those
points.
10 points.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we will start working on from day one, because they are key. It doesn't matter what policies you come up with. If you don't address those 10 issues, forget it. Nothing is going to happen in this country. So there is already the primary issues that we have to address. Those 10 issues.
Great.
Okay, then after that, then we'll be able to put in any other policies that we can put in place.
Hi there, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Great, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah?
What is your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Douglas and I'm calling from Indiana.
All right, when you're calling us, make sure you switch off your Facebook or YouTube so we can hear you. Hi there, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I have a question for
May you
the
please
guest.
tell us your
Can you
name?
hear me?
May you please tell us your name and where you're calling us from? We can hear you. Yes.
I'm Billy. I'm calling from Cape Town.
Billy from Cape Town.
Yes.
Okay, please. State Council is listening.
I want to find out if the State Council is able to provide constitutional changes in its capacity without being in government. Is there a way all these great ideas can be implemented or suggested to the ruling government without aspiring to be president? So it's because it seems like every presidential aspirant somebody has got to be a president for a change to be implemented. Can't someone put pressure on the government from outside politics? Do we all have to be presidents to implement changes? Because there's so many presidential aspirants. Who are we going to choose? Can't these people offer solutions from outside government? Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
it's a good point. It's a good point. That is what I've been doing in the last 35 years. Okay, trying to work from outside government. But again, you have to make an evaluation. What is the rate of success? The rate of success is 0. Okay, first of all, people must be able to understand that even thinking about serving in that office is a huge sacrifice. It's not Christmas. Okay, the cost is huge. It's monumental. It's not a responsibility. It's not an office you aspire for lightly. It messes up your life. Okay, if you are really serious about being transformation in your approach, you have to be serious. But the point that is there is, how long can you criticize? Okay, if people are receptive to ideas, I have mentioned this before. I have written to the president, Mr. President, please don't change the constitution. I've written to him, right? I wrote to him. But has he heard what I said? Of course not. Okay, but even then, who did he consult? How many Zambians did he consult? Okay, can they produce the percentage of Zambians that actually favor an amendment to the constitution? There's none. So you can only talk up to a certain point. Now, if you believe you can make a difference, why should you remain an armchair critic? Why not move into that? Because if you feel passionate that you can actually make a difference, why not? Okay, so yes, what he's saying is right. Okay, if the system is working well, nobody will think of changing government. Nobody. Okay, nobody. I've already given you the examples. For example, Kaunda was in power for 27 years. He succeeded because things were okay, but people rose against him because the system broke down. Okay, and we kicked him out. I've given you the example of Botswana. They've been there 50 years. They only removed them when they kicked them out. So nobody wants to jump into the political arena if the system is working well. Okay, it's not a joyride when you aspire being a president. It's not a joyride. I think there is a misconception. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. Anybody that thinks being in that office is a joyride, then is mistaken. Okay? It's a huge sacrifice. First of all, it drains you. I can imagine what it is. Okay? I can only imagine. What you are basically saying, being president, you are being responsible for the lives of 23, 24 million people. That's not an easy undertaking. It is a serious business. And that is why I'm saying, given the opportunity, it's not something that any president can do alone. It's a lie. You need the collective involvement of all the citizens to get on board, okay, to get it done, okay. And that's why we are saying, together as a people, we can transform this country, okay. Not working, and that is why we're calling for. We are saying we need a renewal. We need a renewal. That renewal should reflect the idea that we have a collective responsibility to define the destiny of this country.
State Council, before we close, kindly hold your thought. When you get to our Facebook page, the official Facebook page for this podcast is called Schuster's House. You will find a link in the comments. If you do like what you're watching, please, we've been nominated for the best podcast of the year. You could give us a vote. Also, those business houses that would like to advertise on this show, those numbers, you could talk to the producer after the show, and of course they'll be able to guide you how you could actually advertise on this show. State Council, as we come to a close, is there any closing remarks you have for the Zambian people that have been following us, Zambian people that are willing to support you?
Yeah, my only plea is that we need to accept the fact that there is no Messiah. Nobody is coming to rescue this country. Nobody is going to transform this country for us. We have an obligation as a citizen to roll up our sleeves and work and transform this country. Again, my plea to you is, you can only complain up to a certain point, but there is time for you to stop complaining and do something. Okay? Don't just complain, do something. Don't just complain, join the movement. Okay? That is my message to the people. Don't complain, join the movement. Thank you.
State Council, thank you so much for making time for us. We really appreciate you've spent a lot of time talking to the Zambian people and connecting. We appreciate you, and of course we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
We've been talking to State Council John Sangwa, and of course, he's had a conversation with us for more than an hour. I hope you've picked up one or two things that he has mentioned. Until next time, this has been Schuster's House.